All right, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. We are getting started with draft here between TXT and Terminal Hairlines. Ignore the TR on the red side. I messed that up. My bad. Should say TH, not TR. That being said, we're jumping right into draft here. All the players are in the lobby. We're going to get started with a Viego band from the side of TXT who are taking the blue side for this first game. Terminal Hairlines electing to take the red side for game number 1. The Fury going to be the ban here. For TH. It's TXT taking a bit of time for their second ban here. And it will be the Rumble. An interesting choice here. Caitlyn, the immediate answer on the side of Terminal Hairlines. Final ban coming out for TXT here in this first round. What will it be? Vladimir going to be the final ban for the side of TXT here, and Terminal Hairlines answering back immediately with the Shen ban. TXT going to be going straight into picks. We'll see what they choose to prioritize on this blue side. Taking a bit of time on all of their picks. That is okay. That's what we have the timer for. Going to start off with Kled. Now, Kled is an interesting first pick. Generally speaking, would not like to see him prioritized, but can be used in a lot of different team comps, and so it doesn't really pigeonhole the either side, really, at this point in the draft. Going to be interesting, though, what kind of comp they want to build around this. Kled, really good at engage, but also really good at split pushing. Terminal Hairlines, though, on the red side, going to answer back with a Xin Zhao. We'll see what their second choice is here. They could elect to lock in the top lane. And a lot of focus has been put on that top lane already. It is going to be Shen and Rumble banned for top. Vladimir also flexible to top lane. Brand going to be the pickup, though, for the side of Terminal Hairlines, and this is definitely a very flexible champion. Can be put in mid and support, sometimes jungle, if absolutely necessary, but not very common in the current meta. Brand does not do, or does not have nearly as fast of a clear as he has had previously. Additionally, Xin Zhao is locked in, so we know that it's not going to jungle, but still, both flex picks are available. Jarvan going to be the answer back for the side of TXT. Another good engage that works well with the Kled. I'm actually not entirely sure how Kled ultimate works with the Jarvan Cataclysm, but I believe the end of charge can be used to get over the wall and into the pit. So will be interesting to see if this Jarvan causes any issues for the Kled. Corki going to be the final pickup for this first round of picks on the side of TXT. Poppy going to be the response here, and that means that, well, Poppy, also a good flex pick, can be sent support or top lane in the current meta. Personally, I think slightly stronger in support, especially with certain ADCs, and against certain ADCs like Corki. But is going to be a good answer into the Jarvan and the Kled, preventing them from really doing what they want to do, not able to flag and drag or charge nearly as easily. Kled ultimate is not unstoppable. The first part is roll, but the second part and his dash is considered a dash. He does have a dash in his kit, so a lot of prevention there for the Poppy. Getting back into bans, though, it is going to be the Lulu for the side of Terminal Hairlines to start it off. We'll see what TXT elect to answer back with. So they believe that it is not necessarily Poppy top, even if it is a flex pick between these two players, attempting to dissuade them from sending it support. Excuse me. As Vygar will be the second and final ban for the second ban phase of Terminal Hairlines. Anivia now being hovered by the side of TXT. A little bit of mid lane focus coming out in the second round of bans here. That will be all 5 bans for each team locked in. Terminal Hairlines now need to decide what their ADC is going to be, or if they're going to show their hands on one of these flex picks, and they do hover the Fiora. And this might be a little bit of a draft issue from the side of Terminal Hairlines. Fiora would show exactly where the rest of these champs are going. Gnar will also show. And not really a reason to blind your top lane here. Well, top has already been picked for the side of TXT, so both remaining roles are counter pickable. Seems that Terminal Hairlines has elected to counter pick their ADC against the rest of the team rather than counter picking for top lane. Nami going to be the pickup on the side of TXT, paired with that Corki, and definitely a good pairing it is. Not as strong as something like the Smolder, which has not been picked or banned in this first series. But Corki and Nami, a very good pairing together. Nami, a very good Enchanter support in the current meta. I apologize, I just realized that draft is messed up here. We will swap that over real quick. There we go. Apologies for that. Thank you, chat, for letting me know. Final pickups going to be here. Ziggs, the final pickup for the side of Terminal Hairlines. That will be their AP carry, most likely. Vel'Koz for the side of TXT. And this team looks very interesting to me. I think a lot of engage coming out from the side of TXT. Vel'Koz doesn't entirely fit, but definitely a strong and long-range artillery mage, so can still kind of follow up relatively easy. Also, Kled Charge makes that a little bit easier to follow, similar to Sivir Ultimate. On the side of Terminal Hairlines, a lot of AP coming out in both the mid lane and the AD carry lane, and I'm a little bit worried because Xin Zhao is the only AD that they have on their team, which would make things a little bit difficult if Xin Zhao does fall behind into this Jarvan. So going to be interesting to see how this does get piloted for both sides, but personally I prefer Team X Tempo's draft. We'll have to see how this plays out. Both teams could get very bloody here. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Alright, welcome back for game number 1. Terminal Hairlines versus TXT, as we have a pause here at the beginning of the game. We will attempt to get that resolved here very shortly. Apologies for the delay. We are back in the game. Team X Tempo starting out. Jungler and mid walking together. Professor Hex and Chubb moving. Oh, we'll find Jarvan here, and this could be really bad for the Jarvan. Does have to blow the flash early. Taking about half his HP. Terminal Hairlines will get an early ward. But rather standard starts here for both junglers. They will start Xin Zhao on the chickens. Red buff for the Jarvan. Not a lot more early action for these teams. Hongay and General Tweet pushing their lane opponents off of this wave, trying to make sure they lose some XP, and one minion will go down here. General Tweet will get stunned up by Choupette though, making things a little bit difficult for the side of Terminal Hairlines, though. These two are in control of this wave in the bottom side. And into a brand, going to be really hard for the side of Terminal Hairlines. They are going to be a level down and did miss some experience here. Hotengate putting out a lot of poke onto the enemy bot lane here. Both laners almost half HP at this point. Do you finally manage to get that level 2 though? General Twee getting found by Choupette though, and this might be bad. Poppy picking out first blood. The ignite coming out for that Nami. Stepping a little bit too close to that wall and getting punished for it. Deathwish though, punishing Professor Hex here in this mid lane. The Ziggs is able to farm at quite a bit of range. Soon though, getting jumped on here. Getting invaded by Chubb and Hermie. And Tran might be in a little bit of trouble here. Not able to get the remount. Chubb will pick up that kill. 2 early kills for the side of Terminal Hairlines, and they're going to feel very happy about taking some of this early tempo away from Team X tempo. Professor Hex, though, taking a lot of damage on that teleport back. Deathwish just trying to poke him out a little bit before he recalls himself. Choupette here playing the Lollipoppy. He is going to try to sniff out the Jarvan on this crab. Chubb here in the mid lane. Deathwish putting a decent amount of damage onto Professor Hex, but soon going in a little too much here, and Choupette is also here. Make this happen. Chubb getting a second kill onto the Jarvan. Not going to be as worried for this team now. Jarvan very far behind in this jungle matchup, and the amount of damage coming out from Xin Zhao should be incredibly annoying. A good move from Choupette, acknowledging exactly where the Jarvan is looking to go and catching him out on it. Hotengay and General Twee now in a bit of trouble here as Hotengay gets stunned up against the wall, and there's nowhere for Hotengay to go. The Corki is just going to fall. Chubb is now on a killing spree, and Deathwish walking down to try and help his team out. Chubb in a bit of trouble here. Does fall too soon. Getting a little bit of revenge for some of those early moves. Good moves back and forth by both teams. The Terminal Hairlines are going to be the beneficiaries. Up 3k gold at 5 minutes. That is a massive gold lead. Professor Hex here in the mid lane is level 6 over his lane opponent. Deathwish having to roam down. Did lose a little bit of experience. And is going to suffer a little bit into that matchup. Choupette now going hard onto Hotengay. Does eat the bubble from the Nami. And Corki is going to have a really tough time with this particular matchup. Steadfast Presence does have a bit of a long cooldown, but it is going to be obnoxious to try and get out of some of those moves. It's essentially the same as Valkyrie. This back and forth in the bot lane seems like it is not going away anytime soon. Terminal Hairlines, even though they did have the XP loss, in that bottom lane. Making some good moves is now Chubb up here making a good move of his own. The ultimate over the top coming out from the Ziggs in the mid lane. Grants Chubb the double kill. And this Xin Zhao is honestly everywhere at this point. He's been all over the map, helping out his team, making early moves, making life difficult for Team X Tempo. Professor Hex about to make things difficult for this bot lane as well. Choupette taking a little bit of damage, but a lot of damage going back onto General Twee, and now Professor Hex is here. Zoans has already been slain, and Hot and Gay very close behind his support. A bit of hand stiff coming out here for Terminal Hairlines. Making good moves, moving together as a team. This is definitely what we like to see from this level of play. For the side of TX Tempo, though, you really need to slow this game down a little bit as Harmy makes a little bit of a mistake there. Does not account for the invulnerability as Skarl runs away. Does use the ultimate. And now Tran has the opportunity to remount. Harmy going to try to make that as difficult as possible, though. Tran will not get the shotgun off onto Harmy. Tran close to that remount, though. Will be trying to get it as quickly as possible. Skarl coming back to help out his top laner. Soon walking up here as well, but is on a ward, and Hermie as the Mega Gnar going to make this play very difficult. Terminal Hairlines, though, now posturing around this top side. Choupette moving up, and it looks like they are trying to make a move for these Grubs. Team X Tempo does have the Scuttle Crab in front of the Grubs, but with 4 members up here, and with General Twee remaining in the bottom side, Choupette is going to feel very good about moving on to this Jarvan. He is going to knock him up. The Ziggs ultimate coming out over the top, but not enough damage to complete the kill. Zoans, though, doing a lot of damage on his own, and General Twee is in a really rough spot at this point. We'll have to reset, and we'll leave Hot and Gay alone on this bottom side. Meanwhile, on the top side, Chubb taking those Grubs, taking the second neutral objective, complete neutral objective control in this early game for their side. Hermie will not repeat the same mistake, will manage to get the ultimate off at the correct time. Now, Tran very low on this top side. Soon here to even out the lane matchup a little bit. But Chubb is not far behind, and Hermie can definitely survive for quite a while. Tran super low for this fight. Hermie just going to jump out, and Tran now getting spotted by Chubb will die to the Xin Zhao. Soon, not far to follow. Choupette here in the mid lane, helping out Professor Hex. And Terminal Hairlines are in complete control of this early game. A 6.5k gold lead now. Zoan's very, very low. Does have to flash away from the Nami wave, but will use the brand ultimate. General Twee getting stunned up against the wall once again. This bot lane just does not have the damage to complete the kill. Hot and Gay forced to use the flash here. Choupette trying to run him down with that steadfast presence. Zoan's going on a rampage as Choupette runs underneath the turret to stun up that Corki. Hot and Gay, the MVP of the previous series, but a good steadfast presence coming out from Choupette. A good flash coming out from Soon, and General Twee not far behind. Zoan's looking for that stun, does manage to get it, and Choupette finds him against the wall. Nothing for this side of Team X Tempo. So much damage onto Deathwish. Was trying to finish off those 2 low kills, but unfortunately, good rotations from the rest of their team means that they will take everything and lose nothing. Hermie and Tran battling it out on this top side now. Tran going to dismount. And 12 minutes into the game, this gold lead has started to balloon to a very worrying point for the side of TXT. Speaking of worrying, Deathwish needs to worry about what's going on behind him. The Choupette sitting around the Raptors will get spotted out by Soon very shortly. Will stun him into the wall. And if you are the side of TXT, you do not want your jungler to be the same level as the enemy support. And your own support, for that matter. Soon having a very rough game here. The Choupette will find General Twee on this bottom side. Going to have to flash away from Zoans. Does use the brand Q to try to create some space. Chubb on the second Drake will be a Chemtech Drake, so we'll see what soul we get here very shortly. Soon, not able to make anything happen on this bottom side with Choupette. Just has that steadfast presence constantly up. Hot and Gay trying to poke out the support, but Lock into the Iron Solari already completed for this Poppy means he will be incredibly tanky on that champion. Chubb now looking to invade this bottom side here. And these three, for the side of TXT, might be in trouble. Ziggs also rotating down. Chubb going on to Soon. Will get some damage onto General Twee. Choupette, a little bit of anti-synergy between the Ziggs and the Poppy, but it will not matter. Ziggs collecting a double kill. And they may collect this first turret here. Indeed they do. Poppy knocking back the Nami. Will not be able to complete that kill. But that's two turrets gone for the side of Terminal Hairlines. Mid lane turret also going down not that long ago. As almost 15 minutes into the game, and we have a 10k gold lead in favor of Terminal Hairlines here. This is going to feel really rough. One kill between 5 members. Professor Hex coming up here to make the 1v1 in the top side unfair. Will do a lot of damage, but not quite getting the dismount. Now manages to. Choupette, though, here to make sure the Kled not going anywhere and slightly missing the wall. A little bit awkward, but Choupette might be in a little bit of trouble here. Is Tran about to remount? Does get the remount and the shutdown going over to the ADC. Charge onto Professor Hex. Hot and Gay here to follow up on the damage. And this Ziggs has nowhere to run. 4 members responding topside. General Twee now needing to run as Zoans also coming up. Chubb popping the Xin Zhao ultimate. Tran trying to go insane here. Does get redismounted. Professor Hex using the laser. Multiple low members here on the side of TMX Tempo, but they do pick up multiple members of Terminal Hairlines and get those shutdowns as well. General Twee trying to get to his mid laner. Tran, very healthy at this point, is able to take on Zoans. Some fancy feet to get away from the Brand stun. Brand, now with nowhere to go, does pop the barrier, but not in time as Nara returns. Hermie trying to get another kill here. Another teleport coming out for the side of TXT. Professor X trying to help out his team, and Choupette is also back on the map. Has TXT outstayed their welcome? Indeed, they have. Not able to back off. Forced to fight. Multiple members on both teams going down, but the fight lasting long enough. And now a little bit of reduction, so a little bit more benefit for the side of TXT, collecting multiple shutdowns of terminal hairlines. But TXT did get that top lane turret. Now soon, in a very rough position, tries to flag and drag, but a great flash steadfast presence coming out from Choupette prevents him from leaving. As the jungler will go down once again. 2 and 7 on this Jarvan is not where you want to be. Choupette and Chubb starting up the Rift Herald here. Zoans will join them, and they will look to take control of every single early neutral objective. 16, almost 17 minutes into this match, not a single neutral dropped. In fact, this is close to a perfect game. Only one turret plate taken, sorry, 2 turret plates taken for the side of terminal, or TXT, excuse me. Oh wait, no, that's a bug. Now 3 taken on the bottom side. But almost a perfect game here. Not a single turret falling in the favor of TXT. Professor Hex is going to try to make sure that this Kled not able to take any more. Choupette now looking for General Twee here, but Deathwish trying to poke out a little bit. Chubb going to work with Choupette. Tried to take this red buff here. And I don't think Soon knows that Chubb is here. Good knock up from Deathwish, but unfortunately not quite enough. As General Twee having to flash over the wall. The ignite used from Choupette, and Soon tried to go in, but did not find anyone with that flag and drag. Hot and Gay separated from the rest of his team. Tran kind of in the middle of everybody. This team fight is incredibly split for the side of Terminal Hairlines, as Choupette will go down, but not before taking a member of TXT with him. Hot and Gay getting jumped on by Hermie as Chubb does the same to Deathwish. General Twee trying to fight back with his ADC. But Zoan's now here to make this very awkward. 3 members dead for the side of Terminal Hairlines. And Professor Hex looking to make it a 4th. Not quite going to land that ultimate. Zoan's now incredibly low and will go down. But Ziggs picking up a double kill in the bot lane. A full ace for the side of Terminal Hairlines.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Going to picking up a lot of gold. Third Drake spawning for this team. It will be an Infernal Soul this game. Hermie and Choupette working together to track the jungler. And it looks like Team X Tempo have acknowledged they are not getting anywhere near this dragon. They know it's going down with that ward, but no ability to get out there. Very good positioning from the side of Terminal Hairlines to make sure that this Jarvan does not get anywhere near that dragon pit. Tran now on the top side trying to take as many turret plays as he can. Will manage to get 3 of them, but Hermie is here to make his life difficult. And the gap between top lane and mid lane is quite a bit lower. Tran now trying to TP out. Will not manage to do so successfully as Choupette knocks him up. Stuns him against the wall. He will get the remount, but Professor Hex here as well. And once again, we see multiple TPs coming out for the side of Terminal Hairlines as they attempt to take down this top laner. They're now going for this Baron, at least going to posture around it, clear out some vision. And 5-4 without your top laner. Kled does have charge, but does not have the teleport as he unsuccessfully tried to get away here. Everybody running on the side of Terminal Hairlines towards this Team X Tempo. And 2 of them will go down. And this game 1 appears to be a stomping from the side of Terminal Hairlines. Fully in control. 12.5k gold as they look for this Baron at 20 minutes. And this one will go down completely uncontested. No jungler in the area. He is on the bottom side trying to take as much gold as possible. Trying to get some kind of bounty for his team on this bottom side. Professor Hex is going to try to make this difficult, but soon will manage to collect that turret, and an objective bounty will be claimed for the side of TXT. Deathwish now in a second item, and I'm going to be completely honest, I do like Hairlines on Vel'Koz, but I do not like it as a second item. Deathwish building this item a little bit too early, in my opinion, will slow down some of the members of TXT, but really the Vel'Koz needs damage right now. Damage which Professor Hex has in absolute spades. 3 full items completed for this Ziggs in the mid lane, including his Rabadon's death cap. Hermie now trying to make something happen. Will get exhausted and will have to run away. He's going to get charged on by Tran, who decides to walk it out, given that the rest of his team is right there. Terminal Hairlines cracking the base of Team X Tempo. Will take the mid lane and will now rotate over to the top side with their Baron, trying to get this inhibitor turret. Will manage to do so, and they get the inhibitor with all 5 members up and available for TXT. Some low health bars on the side of Terminal Hairlines. If Jarvan can find a good engage, or if Kled can find a good engage, it looks very difficult, but with Choupette full health and having that steadfast presence available, they will back off and will not lose any members. But Terminal Hairlines have left the base of Team X Tempo in absolute shambles. One inhibitor dead, the other one exposed. And the final Drake spawning in a minute for this team. Will TXT elect to contest for this objective? Will Terminal Hairlines simply run down the mid lane and try to finish this game off quickly? General Twee and Soon are trying to get some vision here, but 3 people from the side of Terminal Hairlines here going to make things difficult. General Twee going to take a lot of damage. Has to use the flash, but still not able to get out of the Ziggs damage. Tran, in an awkward teleport position, will get jumped on by Chubb. Professor Hex and Zoan's not far behind, and this Kled may be dead. Does flash over the wall, but flashes right into Hermie. Oh my goodness. What a great Gnar ultimate. 4 dead for the side of Terminal Hairlines. Professor Hex teleporting into the base. Soon, not long to follow. Terminal Hairlines in complete control of this game from minute 1. Choupette making great moves around the map. Will manage to do so again. Hermie, an incredible Gnar ultimate, and that is going to be game number 1. An incredibly commanding lead from the side of Terminal Hairlines. A great job from them, knowing exactly what they needed to do, when they could do it. Chubb making amazing moves. Choupette out of lane, constantly harassing the members of these teams. And a great job from Terminal Hairlines to bring that match to a close. We are going to pull up some stats here really quickly. Give us just a moment. Here we go. Let's take a look at some stats for this game. A 24-40 minute win for the side of Terminal Hairlines. 1-0, and look at the damage. 4K for the Jarvan. Absolutely unable to get anything done in this particular matchup, and you know that he's going to be frustrated about that scoreline. Kled doing almost the most damage on his team, but nowhere near the damage the lowest damage member of Terminal Hairlines. Aside from the support, 15k on the Zinzao, still more than almost everyone else on the side of Team X Tempo. But a great job, a very commanding lead from Terminal Hairlines. Can they wrap this one up in a 2-0 fashion, or will Team X Tempo clap back? We'll find out shortly. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back for the draft of game number 2, TXT and Terminal Hairlines. Setting it up. Going to be just a couple of seconds. As we wait on Terminal Hairlines to wrap up whatever it is they're doing and ready up. And we are into draft here. Terminal Hairlines going to be taking the blue side for this game. Team X Tempo have elected to take the red side. Terminal Hairlines will ban Caitlyn for their first ban here. We'll see if we get similar bans. TXT going to ban the Viego once again. So it will be similar bans from both of these teams. The Shen coming out as the second ban this time. Rumble in response. We are flying through this ban phase here for game number 2. Third and final ban for the side of Terminal Hairlines coming out here very shortly. And they will keep the Vigar, it looks like. Yep, locked in here for the side of Terminal Hairlines. Vladimir, excuse me. Locked in for Team X Tempo. Terminal Hairlines now have their priority pick. And I'm very interested to see what they prioritize for this draft. Some very strong moves coming out of them last game, so I'd like to see them do something similar. And Nefiri going to be the first pickup, a little bit weaker now that Voltaic Cyclosword has been nerfed, but still a very strong champion, still usable in multiple roles, but likely going mid here, as that is the most common place we see it currently. And a very good flex pick for their side. We'll see what TXT elect to respond with. Ashe going to be the pickup here, and will the Seraphine follow for the side of TXT? A very strong bot lane, but given how difficult they found the bot lane to play last time, Ongay did do a very good job of commanding it early, but unfortunately, General Twee just getting hit against the wall, just walking a little bit too close. Not able to keep control of that lane. The Seraphine will come out though, and it will be the Ashe Seraphine. Now, this is supposed to be an incredibly strong bot lane, but so far in multiple leagues, we have not seen this have the same success. And I'm a little bit worried about it here. Xerath and Smolder though, going to come out for the side of Terminal Hairlines, and this is a little bit awkward. Not quite sure if Xerath is going into support, but is flex between support and mid. Not my favorite support with the Smolder, but is workable. So we'll have to see. Nefiri's job in this game is going to be carrying the mid lane, or excuse me, carrying the mid game for that Smolder. Waiting until he does get his 225, and Mel going to be the response in the mid lane. Mel into Xerath is definitely a losing lane for the Mel. Xerath able to outrange pretty much everything she wants to do, and the only spell that can be reflected by the Mel is the stun. But a good Xerath will know not to use that until that reflect is used. We'll have to see if the Xerath is even going mid at this point. Seraphine could also be flexed into mid though, so we'll have to see how that works out. Anivia though, going to start off the second round of bans here for the side of TXT. Terminal Hairlines next up to ban. We'll have to see where they elect to place their focus. It looks like top lane is going to be part of it, as the Volibear ban coming out for the side of Terminal Hairlines. TXT, their final ban of this game. Will it be the final ban of the series? Everything they do could rest on this one choice right here. What do they not want to allow TH to play? Timer ticking down very soon. Their final ban going to be the Victor. So a lot of mid lane focus here for the side of TXT, trying to give Professor Hex as much difficulty as possible. And Bessa going to be the final ban from Terminal Hairlines. And a lot of top lane focus for the side of Terminal Hairlines, only banning one mid laner here in this entire draft. And keeping the same bans as they had last time. Putting that focus on the top side. TXT now need to pick. And they are going to blind the Lee Sin, not knowing if Neferi is going mid or jungle. Lee Sin, though, a very strong jungler. Once again, nerfed by Voltaic Cyclosword, but definitely able to make some things happen. Able to get onto the Smolder, onto the Xerath, and hopefully get around that Neferi. Terminal Airlines need to pick their final two picks here. Nautilus going to be one of them, so Xerath is going to be sent to the mid lane. Neferi going into jungle for the side of Terminal Hairlines. And finally, we are going to get a top lane pick for this blue side team. Some good long range coming out from the side of Terminal Hairlines. Neferi kind of fitting into that, is able to hopefully carry some of this mid game. If they can pair it with a good tank top laner, that should make this draft feel very strong for their side. Cannon. A lot of good CC, but with the amount of damage that TXT currently have, I'm a little worried about this choice. Is Irelia going to be the response? And it will be Mel in the mid lane, Seraphine in the support role. Not entirely sure if Kennen was the correct pick for the side of Terminal Hairlines, but we'll find out here very shortly. Some good counter engage for the side of TXT. Neferi needs to be really careful when she uses that ultimate, and Smolder not able to fly in as quickly as he wants to. Lee Sin going to be looking for that backline kick, but Kennen could make things very difficult for the side of TXT. We'll have to see how this draft shakes out. I think if TXT are able to prevent their jungler from getting such a rough time early, they should have a bit of a better time in this particular matchup. A lot of counter engage for their side and a lot of pick potential on both the Ashe, the Lee Sin, and the Irelia. So we'll have to see how this game number 2 shakes out. Will Terminal Hairlines be able to close this one out, or will TXT look for the reverse sweep? We'll find out soon. Don't go anywhere. We've got action coming up very soon. All right, welcome back for game number 2. Terminal Hairlines versus Team X Tempo.
Welcome to
some very early action here we hope for in this game number 2. And we're going to get it as both mid laners are here with their junglers trying to get some early intel for the side of TXT. A little bit better trade coming out soon. Is going to take a lot of damage though. And realistically, in this mid lane matchup, as I was mentioning before, Deathwish should have the harder time. Is going to be able to farm quite comfortably, but is going to have some difficulty outranging the Xerath. Is Hot and Gay and General Twee looking for some early action, but are going to put a lot of damage down onto Zoans and Choupette, despite the early catch coming out from this Nautilus and the early ignite. Both heal and both barriers blown for both of these laners. It's Tran trying to get aggressive onto this top lane, kind of having a rough time into this Irelia. Tran just barely missing the E on that Irelia. Would have likely secured him the kill early into Hermes. As I do apologize, we are having a minor issue with the overlay. Give us one moment and we're going to try to fix that. Tran getting the stun onto Hermes though. Will go aggressive onto him, and the flash away will get the stun, but will trade in response. A trade of flashes, trade of kills, but Tran is going to get slightly better on that trade. Deathwish, though, not getting the better trade for this mid lane. Getting outranged by the Xerath and not able to miss or step out of some of those skill shots. Just taking so much poke damage from the Xerath. And this is exactly how this matchup is supposed to go. We did see a Xerath into a Mel matchup earlier. General Twee, though, trying to make something happen, but Choupette flashing onto Hot and Gate with Chubb here to help out. That will be a dead Ashe, and General Twee soon to follow. Soon, not close enough to make anything happen. He is going to try to get onto Zoans, but he has to find him first. A good flash coming out for the Smolder. Means that Soon is not going to be able to get anything to happen. General Twee stepping a little too close. Will go down in response. Zoans does go down to General Twee, though. A little bit too low for that Smolder. Deathwish has teleported back. Professor X managing to land the stun onto the Mel, who did get the reflect baited out of her. And once again, we see good early game moves from the side of Terminal Hairlines. This is exactly what they need to do. They need to keep this Ashe and Seraphine down. They need to get the Smolder ahead. Chubb has figured this out and is doing the same thing again. Hermie just barely missing the E there. And Tran is going to need to be the big mover for this team, keeping that cannon behind, trying to make him as killable as possible. Soon, now here onto Professor Hex. We'll get the Q. We'll take it, but we'll run away as soon as he sees Chubb. And Hermie going to get stunned up, but will stun Tran in response. Does he know that Chubb is up here on this Naafiri? He needs to be very careful about how he plays this. This Irelia does not have flash anymore. Choupette doing a very good job on this Nautilus of keeping his ADC in a very good spot. Soon, though, looking for a play on the top side. Hermie will use the ultimate, and oh my goodness, that is so much damage coming out from a single Amp Tome on Hermie. Elysian is here now. Will try to make something happen onto this cannon. One more auto, will manage to get it. And a trade up top laners. Unfortunately, Irelia not able to benefit from that kill. On Gay and General Twee now in a little bit of a tough position. Chubb and Professor Hex are looking on this bottom side. A good catch from Choupette. Hot and Gay needs to be very careful. There's a lot of pressure on this bot lane. Unfortunately, just not able to make things happen for the side of Team X. Their tempo in a very rough position right now. First Drake spawned for this game. It will be a first Drake Mountain Soul. Grubs in a minute and a half. Chubb, though, on the reset, and soon is down here on this bottom side trying to make something happen. Hermie will get stunned up, trying to bait Tran underneath the turret. Zoans, a very good sidestep, and now Chubb has canceled his recall and is electing to come down to this bottom side. Both junglers are level 6. Choupette manages to find the catch onto Soon, but Chubb getting pulled back was kicked underneath the turret, but will manage to get the kill in response. The flash forward from Hot and Gay. The barrier coming out from both of these ADCs. A trade of junglers. One ADC up for the bot lane. General Tweet trying to make something happen, but Zoan's low enough. He knows he should not be doing anything. General Tweet trying to flash. Not quite able to make it happen, as Choupette will get the kill on his enemy. Flashes and a trade of ultimates for both of these top laners here. Team X Tempo falling behind once again in this early game. And you've got to be a little bit worried for their side. Even Deathwish still having a rough time in this mid lane. Not able to make things happen against this Xerath, who is now using his ultimate. Does manage to reflect. The final one steps out of all the rest. Tran now with these grubs up, guessing that Nefiri is on the top side. If he goes too close, could be a little bit bad. Hermie now baiting his laner in, but soon is not far behind. Chubb might be in a little bit of trouble here. Oh, a good Ashe ultimate onto Chubb here. Irelia fully stacked up, and Chubb is super low on this Nefiri. Will go down as Deathwish up here to make sure that his solo laner and his jungler are safe. Hot and Gate just barely managing to step out, and Hermie now in a difficult position. Professor X is going to teleport towards this top side and try to force the rest of Team X Tempo off of this top side. This Aurelia getting a little bit scary now. Ooh. General Tweed walking into Choupette will get the auto, but not much more. Doesn't elect to go too much harder on this bottom side. Is now looking potentially. Does miss the hook onto General Twee. And despite the amount of action that we got in the top side, it is terminal hairlines that are on these grubs. That's going to feel very disappointing if you are the side of Team X Tempo. They're trying to look for this bottom side, but they have no prio with this Ashe and Seraphine. It's going to be very frustrating for them. Even in the mid lane, Xerath hard pushing out this Mel, not able to push the wave in. And likely not going to be able to go for this Drake. A trade of ultimates from the top side. Hermie now in a rough position. Tran though not having the final Q to finish him off. And Herbie will manage the run away in time. Deathwish now in a very rough position. Does have to dance. Professor Hex forcing the flash out with that ultimate. Hot and Gay getting lollipopped here by Shoop's ultimate. Mom coming out, and Hot and Gay blowing the barrier to prevent Zoans on that final Q. Soon going hard onto Professor Hex here, but his jungler here to make the trade. A mid laner for a jungler, and Chubb will likely be looking for this Drake. Hot and Gay needs to be careful. That Nefiri is very, very close. And I know you're trying to get some health back, but you're going to lose some of it if you keep playing this way. Good flash coming out from Choupette. Hot and Gay will go down. As the Nautilus almost going down in response. Chubb, now in a very difficult position, does fall to General Twee. So a bit of a failed dive from the side of Terminal Hairlines, as Tran now down here on this bottom side, going to make things difficult for Zoans. Does manage to collect the kill onto him. Will collect the kill onto Choupette as well. And a little bit of gold back for the side of TXT. They're going to even this one up. Only 400 between the two of them. But will they be able to make any neutral objective moves off of it? Things getting even worse for Deathwish in the mid lane. Did elect to go for a very odd boot choice. I understand wanting to go for the Swifties in lane, but I really think you don't do that. movement speed will be nice, but realistically, you're going to be lacking on some magic penetration, and that's not going to feel very good. Chubb now looking for this Drake. Knows he has Prio with Ashe on the top side. Zoaz, though, going to try to go heavy onto this bot lane. Will flash onto Zoaz. Manages to get the E onto him, but there are 4 people in the area. Professor Hex, all he has to do is walk a little bit further down. General Twee now going to be the next one to be ultimate, or for the ultimate to go onto by Chubb. Will not quite manage to get that kill off. Will be very close though. Does force the flash out of the Seraphine. Soon, now in a difficult position here, getting caught out by Shoop. Does manage to get over the wall, but he's going to die to the Smolder and the burn from Chubb's red buff. Terminal Hairlines gathering back some of that gold lead that they just lost. Chubb managing to pick up this early Drake. Will be a little bit delayed from their last game, but still in command of these neutral objectives. And now going to try to proxy. Will run into Hermie, who is going to do a little bit of damage and run past. Does now have that Hextech Gunblade on the cannon. Fran having to run away. Chubb now here as Hermie does get the ultimate off onto the Irelia. And even with a 1k gold lead, you're still going to have a rough time in a 2v1 against Chubb and Hermie. Especially if you get stunned up early and do not have the ultimate or the flash to use. Terminal Hairlines in a very good position. Not quite the gold lead that they had in game 1. Still doing very well. Hot and Gay just barely able to dodge away from that hook. Not getting a lollipop this time. This bot lane, though, do need to defend their turret very closely as it is low. And while they don't have the Ziggs on their side this time, still a lot of damage can be done with those crystals. Choupette looking for an angle onto this bot lane. Not quite able to find it, though. Soon is down here, and so is Chubb. The ultimate attempting to come out from the Seraphine will come out, but Mom is going to catch General Twee. Chubb now in a bit of a difficult position, but the ultimate coming out from the Xerath does mean the Chubb goes on a rampage and now will be shut down by the Mel. Mel collecting the second one onto the Smolder. It's Tran down here as well, but Hermie teleporting and Professor Hex quickly to follow. Triple kill coming out for this Mel. Had a bit of a rough time in lane, but has now managed to pick up 3. As we get a slight pause coming out for one of these teams. Not entirely sure who requested it. But hopefully we'll be getting back in the game very shortly. A very rough game for the side of Team X Tempo. They do manage to get some stuff back at the 15-minute mark. I'm trying to even it up just a little bit. But still some good moves coming out from Terminal Hairlines as the game will restart. Tran now here on this bottom side into 2 members. Choupette will reset. But if you are Professor Hex, you need to be very careful about playing into this Irelia, who does have an item and a half completed now. Mel going to reset and is going to pick up the Blackfire Torch. A Hextech Alternator for the second item. I don't think I love that. It looks like she is going for Burst on that Mel. will be trying to pick up the Storm Surge second item. And while I'm not the biggest fan of this on a Blackfire Torch build, at 3-0 you really need to be able to push your advantage. You need to be able to push your damage. Blackfire Torch, a good item. Although I'm not entirely sure, given that there's only one semi-tank on the side of Terminal Hairlines, that this is the best build to go. Mel is sort of locked into one build at this point in the game, though. And Hermie getting stunned up here by Tran. Tran will respond and able to walk out. Oh, Hot and Gay just barely missing the point blank auto thanks to a flash from Professor Hex. But the rest of his team is up here to do this Rift Herald. Hermie now trying to clear the wave in the face of Tran, but Tran just going to wait out that stun. Had a cannon minion left to protect him. And as soon as that went down, used the ultimate and was able to pick up the kill onto this cannon. Very smart play coming out from Tran on this Irelia. Will be able to pick up the first turret in this game, or in this series really, for the side of Team X Tempo. Hot and Gay now needing some fancy feet of his own, will not manage the dance, and Professor Hex will kill this Ashe. No ultimate available to prevent that from happening. Deathwish though, going to try to make something happen here. Professor Hex going to be taking a lot of damage into this Mel. Not letting her bait out the E. Very good play from this Mel. Shut down onto Professor Hex, and this is going to be a scary mid laner. Multiple members of both teams now down here on this bottom side. A full 4-man into a 3-man for the side of Terminal Hairlines. As this dragon will be up and available, Mel is going to teleport out. Try to make this a balanced fight. 5 members now here for both teams. As the Storm Surge is completed for the Mel, this is going to be a difficult fight for both teams. Professor X does have the teleport, is able to join his team. 5v5 around this Drake. A flash from Choupette does not net him anything on that hook though, and General Tweed does take a lot of damage. Professor Hex using the Zeroth Q, not quite able to find anything. But Zoans at 20 minutes into the game does have that 125 on the Smolder. A good call out from the side of Soon. They are going to try and take this Drake, and this could be their very first neutral objective. They will manage to secure it, but Soon is very, very low. They are going to have to run from this fight as the Zeroth ulti does come out. Soon doing his best to get out, and Professor Hex will manage to take out Deathwish. The good flash away from Mom for Soon means that currently it is a 1 kill for the side of Terminal Hairlines with multiple members here to dive this turret, and unfortunately Soon not enough health. Aurelia trying to make this a trade back, does get the ultimate off, but Choupette manages to CC the Aurelia for just long enough that they can take him down underneath the turret. Hot and Gay trying to get this mid lane turret for his team. And an even Drake count. Team X Tempo finally managing to find their first neutral objective in this game. Managing to keep this game a lot more even than the first one, but they need to be careful. That Smolder is scaling. Does have quite a few stacks at this point. And will become a very big problem very soon. Deathwish going to need to be able to deal with that one. Multiple members here seeing the TP come up from Irelia. Are going to moving towards the top side. And there's 4 people up here to try and protect Professor Hex. Tran now needing to run from multiple members here. Will manage to find the right minions to jump to. Is able to get away, but a good arrow from Hot and Gay onto Chubb. Choupette trying to make this turn happen. Mom coming out from Zoen. At a trade, Hot and Gay slaying Chubb here. A shutdown onto Choupette. And pardon me, there was no trade. It is currently a 2-0 for the side of Team X Tempo. They're fighting back in this game, trying to make something happen here. Professor Hex spotting out multiple members of Team X Tempo will prevent the recalls from coming through. That is going to make things a little bit difficult for the side of Team X Tempo. Trying to protect this top lane as well. And a lot of firsts coming out here for TXT in this series. Will that mean their first series win? Will they manage to pick one up here? In a decent position, have, as I said, managed to keep the game relatively even. Terminal Hairlines only 1,000 to 2,000 gold up at any point in this game, but trying to make things happen on this top side is Choupette. Chubb is up here as well. Tran, no minions to go back to this time. Will have to fight it out, but into 3 members with a lot of CC, just not able to make it happen. And Hermie on the bottom side, managing to pick up Death Wish as well, while meanwhile, Terminal Hairlines are going to look for this Drake on the top side, or excuse me, the Baron on the top side. 4 members up here, and General Twee, the only one defending. Hermie now trying to sniff out where Hot and Gay is. This Terminal Hairlines will start up this Baron. Does Team X Tempo know? Doesn't seem like they do. Kitsune is in the area, will get spotted out by a ward, and ultimate coming out from Choupette to make sure this Lee Sin cannot get in. Mom also coming out over the top, the Xerath ultimate trying to poke out this jungler, but some fancy feet does mean that it is going to be very difficult. The charm coming out from the Seraphine, Soon is in the pit, will not quite manage to get the stun off. It's now Terminal Hairlines having to run for their lives, trying to get out with all members wearing purple. Mr. Hex trying to discourage this chase here. Will manage to do a lot of damage to General Twee. And all 5 members of Terminal Hairlines walking out from this Baron. Death Wish needs to be careful here. Disappointment for the side of Team X Tempo, trying to get their first Baron, not quite able to do so, but these 3 need to be very careful. Hermie is on a flank here. Choupette finds the right engage. It could be very difficult for Terminal Hairlines to mess this up. Hermie trying to find an angle. This Drake spawning in 10 seconds means that they need to be very careful about this play, though. General Twee very low, does not have any wards remaining. A good Q in onto Professor Hex from Soon. This fight is incredibly split here. Mom coming out. Hermie also using the ultimate onto General Twee. Tran going hard onto Spy Lane. Does manage to find the kill onto General Twee, but is going to pay for it with his life, as Tran now chasing down Zoans. Does get the ultimate off onto the Smolder. Will not get the stun. The flash from Zoans, and he is able to play around the turret. But the only living member of his team, his support, nowhere to be found. Will not be able to contest for this Drake, and it will go the way of Team X Tempo. Some fight back from their team. Multiple members with no Baron buff now for the side of Terminal Hairlines, and most of it gone to waste at this point. As they will be slightly negative on this Baron power play, minus 1.5k gold. Not exactly how you would want it to go for Terminal Hairlines. 26 minutes into this game, and they are once again completely even. They are up in kills, but currently down in Drakes. Some good scouting coming out for the side of Hot and Gay, finding where multiple members of this Terminal Hairlines team are. Tran, though, getting caught up, even though he knows exactly where Choupette is. The ultimate coming out from the Seraphine hits only the support, and Chubb is going to go right on to General Twee, trying to punish for that mistake. Hot and Gay very close behind, will fall. The Choupette manages to grab Death Wish here. Mom coming out. Professor Hex able to Q over the top. Zoans hitting that 225, going to make things very difficult. Smolder has scaled, and now TXT need to be careful about how they play these team fights. If they cannot find the ultimate from either Tran or Soon onto that Smolder, these team fights are going to be incredibly unplayable, and with somebody as good as Choupette, going to be very hard to find the correct angles. Terminal Hairlines now marching it down in the mid lane, going to crack the base for the first time this game. Do manage to take the inhibitor turret, but do not elect to take the inhibitor itself. Going to reset as their Baron buff has worn out, and they do have a decent amount of gold now. Finally getting a little bit of gold back. This game has been very back and forth. That was up until Smolder scaled. So will the XT be able to find the Smolder and pick him off before he can make things difficult for the rest of the team fight? And despite this Aurelia being a decent amount ahead of her lane counterpart, not really able to make a whole lot happen. Hermie up here on this top side. Professor Hex throwing the ultimate out onto that Aurelia. Choupette able to stun up the Aurelia for long enough for Hermie and Professor Hex to do enough damage to take her down. This top side going to be incredibly vulnerable for the side of TXT without that Aurelia, and so the rest of the members will have to rotate over. Soon in a bit of a sticky position, but will manage to dash out. Multiple members of both teams up here on this top side trying to defend this tier 2 mid lane, or tier 2 top lane, excuse me. But Terminal Hairline's just going to rotate over to this mid lane, try to get this inhibitor, even without Baron, no turret to protect it, so should be very quick. The Grubs make quick work of this mid lane turret. A good rotation for the side of Terminal Hairlines. They will rotate down to this bottom side now, preparing for this Drake in a minute. Terminal Hairlines in a very commanding position at this point. Mid lane will be pushing down with supers as the Baron spawns. Multiple members of both teams now here. TXT need to find a good fight. Need to find the Smolder and kill him quickly. Choupette though, finding Hot and Gay. That is not what you want to see. Although he's all by himself. Hermie now here to try and make something happen. Does flash forward. But the jungler of TXT going down. Mom gonna make things very difficult. Multiple members going down on both teams. A 3 for 3. But this Smolder is still alive. And a jungle and support for the side of TXT versus a jungler and an ADC for the side of Terminal Hairlines. They will elect to push this wave in and then go for the Drake, it looks like. A very smart decision. Neither team on soul point just yet. But Cloud Soul, not super important for either of these teams. A couple members benefiting from it. But definitely not one of the better Drakes in the game, in my opinion. Personally think Mountain Soul is one of my favorites. Chemtech, also pretty fun to play around with. But both teams, having all of their members respawn, are going to look at this Baron once more. Going to be much more difficult for the side of TXT, having to push in that mid wave. Chubb, though, finding Soon here on his red buff, is going to do a lot of damage, but the ultimate coming out from Han Gay will only hit Mom and Hermie, both working together to make short work of this TXT team. General Tweet going to fall very shortly after. Irelia, nowhere to be found. It was walking towards that bottom side. Did teleport in, but not able to get there in time. Tran trying to clear out as much of this wave as possible, create as much pressure, and keep Terminal Hairlines from ending, but they do have a sizable wave here. Are going to elect to go for this Baron instead of attempting to end, though. And good moves from the side of Tran, able to prevent this Terminal Hairlines from ending the game. It's going to be a little bit frustrating from them. Not able to close this one out quite yet, but wearing purple are going to have a much better chance. 4K gold lead at 32.5 minutes. This game now quite a bit longer than it was previously. They are going to wait for their jungler to respawn. Nice moves from them. Very courteous. Terminal Hairlines now going to reset, spend their gold, and try to push this out as quickly as possible. Will this be the final push for their side? 2.5 minutes on that Drake, so no action happening around neutrals for a little bit. 4 members of TXT on the bot lane here. Fan not having that teleport will elect to recall, not able to push in that hot top side any further. 5 members of Terminal Hairlines down here on the bottom side, soon able to jump away from that Nautilus grab, but the ultimate coming out from Professor Hex will attempt to do some damage and will do quite a bit, in fact killing Death Wish. That Mel that looked so strong now in a very rough position. Not able to make things happen for this TXT side as Lollipop catches out General Twee. Nautilus, an incredibly annoying champion, will continue to be annoying, but will get jumped on by Tran. Hermie, though, going to make it a trade. Hot and Gay, now the last remaining member of his team. Triple kill, make it a quadra. 4 Zoans on that Smolder, and Smolder doing a lot of damage in this game. Terminal Hairlines wrapping this one up. Will be a 2-0 win for their side. Congratulations to them. And a little bit less of a commanding start to that game, but still managing to do it in style. Playing the scaling game very well, and the Fury doing a great job of helping out in that mid game. Let's take a look at some statistics for that game number 2. A 34-minute win as opposed to their previous quick win. Not quite as quick. This game a little bit more even, a little bit more back and forth, but because Terminal Hairlines are scaling, really able to balance things out a little bit until the Smolder was able to scale. Unfortunately, Team X Tempo not able to find their footing in the late game. 9 towers to 3. 2 Barons for the side of Terminal Hairlines. And a bit of frustration if you are the side of Team X Tempo. Some good early moves, but Chubb making the bot lane almost irrelevant. A little bit frustrating for them, but congratulations to Terminal Hairlines, a 2-0 win. We will try to see if we can get an interview from one of the one of the players of Terminal Hairlines. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Hopefully we'll have an MVP interview for you. Spam your MVP in the chat. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We have Chubb for the MVP interview. Chubb, how are you guys feeling after that commanding game 1 win and really good late game win in game number 2?
I think pretty good. I mean, week 1 we were kind of I don't know. We didn't really get much practice. We don't really practice a lot as a team, I think, and that's like kind of our struggle. So we're gonna be weak early on in the season, of course. But
Yeah, for
I think we
sure.
kind of found our groove as a team this game, and it felt really nice.
Yeah, you were making some really good early moves on the bottom side in both of those games, making the very strong bot lane that they had in game number. I mean, honestly, they were playing really well on the bot side, and you just kind of negated that in both games.
Yeah, I the Nefiri game especially, I didn't have dogs to clear blue buff, so I called like skipping a camp and just coming down early,
Okay.
and I think that was definitely a good decision because telling them that I was coming, they played slow for me and really made it happen.
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit rough when the enemy jungler responded a couple of times, but you guys really were able to negate their lead, made the bot lane a lot more difficult. And of course, we all know that Shoop is a really good support, so helping out a lot on that Nautilus in game number 2 as well. But yeah, how do you guys feel going forward?
Good. I think we've got a good set of comps that we like to run. Our drafts are pretty consistent, so as long as we just iron out like getting some more experience together, I think we'll have no problem this season.
Sounds good. There you go. Anybody else you want to shout out on your team?
Yeah, man, everybody kind of played pretty amazing today. So I don't know, maybe Shoop definitely was like pretty much starting every fight, like making every play. So I'm surprised he didn't get MVP today, to be honest.
It was very close between you and Shoop, but the agency that you gave your bot lane early in both games kind of won me over a little bit. So you are going to be the MVP for tonight. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed watching you guys play, and thanks for interviewing.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
Well, that is going to be it for us. Thank you so much for coming out and supporting the stream. Make sure to check our socials. We are on Twitter and TikTok, as well as posting these VODs to our YouTube channel as well. If you are not in the Discord, please come check us out. GG Loading Screen. We would be happy to have you. That is going to be the end of our action for all 3 leagues for this week, but don't go anywhere because we will have more coming up in the next season. I have been Matrixsenpai. Thank you guys for coming out and supporting us. Have a good night, y'all.